Welcome to the Smoking Word.
What's up, everybody? Today's podcast is brought to you by CasaDeRock.com. Go check us out. We got a lot of merch, caps, a lot of stuff going on over there. And also follow me at Hoya Rock, HOYAROC 357 on Instagram. You're going to get any show updates and anything and everything Smoking Word. Make sure to spread the word. Subscribe. Now it's time to set it off.
Welcome to the Smoking Word.
Word party people. Yo, the Smoking Word. We're finally back. I didn't really do a proper introduction, but we've been gone for a little while, maybe 4 years or some shit like that, due to technical difficulties, due to pandemic fuckeries and all that good shit. But I'll do a proper fucking reintroduction later on. I figured during this whole fucking lockdown shit, we'll bring back the shit talking. And I said, I had to think really good and said, who's one of the best shit talkers I know? And boom.
Oh shit.
Today, guitar extraordinaire from one of my favorite hardcore bands, my boy Richie Mancuso from the band Wisdom in Chains.
How you doing? I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
You know how to gas you up.
Shit talking is a high honor in this business.
You know, especially coming from me, who I like to crown myself the chief cowabunga of shit talking.
You are good at it, man.
The big kahuna of shit talking.
That's the truth.
But now I feel, it's been a while, especially you guys. You guys been telling me when I should be bringing this shit back. I've been wanting to bring this shit back for a while. But
it's really been 4 years?
I don't know, but I think so. I'm just throwing in. It's crazy. It's longer than you think. But the whole, I've been wanting to do it, but been lazy with it. But during this whole fucking pandemic fuckery shit, it basically lit fire under my ass with a lot of shit. You know what I mean? That's what I was going to ask you. Everybody's talking about, of course, it's pandemic fuckery and all this shit, and whatever way you want to think about it, if it's real or fake or whatever. What I want to know is this: were you locked down over there, right? Like, I mean, what's the deal over there in Pennsylvania? Like, it's on the stage. What fucking?
It's been on lockdown. You could go to the grocery store, but the mask is in effect, but it's been in effect. So when I'm watching the news and people are saying, "Oh, this guy just said you got to wear a mask," I'm like, "Oh shit, it's been like that over here since like April."
Yeah. No, it's crazy because I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even got a television. I got a television with just fucking Netflix and Amazon Prime, so I don't even watch the news. Not on purpose to be one of these fucking I don't watch the news people, but I just don't got fucking basic cable. But in a way, I like it because, I start hearing about, everybody else's versions of what they think is going on, especially in the state I live, because I'm coming at you from my cave in South Florida. But, so my whole shit is this. So this is what I was wondering, because I talked to you a little bit here and there. What the fuck have you been doing? I know you guys worked on some music, but in general, what have you been doing? Because I'm going crazy. So I don't know about everybody else.
Early on, Joe has just got back to work, so he's working again. Luke never stopped working. Yeah. He worked all through it. He was at JFK. He was at all these spots considered essential doing construction. Mav, the guitar player, I don't know if he's working or not. If he does, he usually works from home anyway.
Digging.
Evan does little shit. He don't listen to nobody. He's been working. So we've been working for the most part. Other than that, though, concentrating on writing songs right now, because why not? You know what I mean? I always see you working with your updates. You got shit going on. We said this is the time. This is the time to write and record.
And so you got to go in the studio. I saw you guys go in the studio. Was that for something recording or like demo, or you would that's something that's going to be released?
That's going to be released. It's going to be a split 7-inch on Fast Break Records with a band called Sharp Shock from California. And 2 songs apiece, a cover song and an original. So we said, let's get this out of the way. Let's do it. And then by the time the pandemic's over, we'll have something ready to come out. and this shit is already like old news. You know what I mean? Like we thought this thing would be over in a few weeks, like they said. So, but now we're working on an album. So we just keep and if we can't play until an album's out, then at least we got some material coming out.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's exactly. I mean, I already had started working on the new Madball, but it definitely, well, it took a pause for a minute, but that was the plan. Just start stacking up riffs, and I was thinking now's the time for any band to start, start building. And I know you guys are always jamming, but and then I saw you guys in the studio. Now, let me ask you this: when you first went back to the studio, was anybody from the band weird with being with each other in a fucking closed room?
We weren't weird with it because we were jamming out right here in the basement. This is where we set up shop. But this engineer was a little bugged out. This little dude named Richie.
He was shook.
And then when he got the heads up that Luke works at JFK in New York, and that's where he's been working, he was second guessing if he made the right decision. But we said, listen, Luke took a test. You're going to be good. But, we're still waiting for Luke to take that test, though. I don't know if he ever did. But, the guy, he didn't care. Once we got started, he didn't care,
Because, it's pretty funny. Like, so, like I was going to say, I ended up going to New York because, as you know, and I want to say this off the top, my mom's passed away, not because of this COVID shit or whatever, but unfortunately it happened during this whole COVID shit. So I had to go to New York, and I wanted to say officially a big thank you to everybody who reached out, everybody who donated, everybody who looked out in whichever way, anybody who prayed, anybody who sacrificed a baby or whatever. No, don't do that. No sacrifice a baby. But what I mean, anybody who did whatever their religious belief or whatever it is and threw it towards me and my family, we felt it. And again, this is why I may not say it enough, but we come from the best scene in the world. And I ain't trying to shit on no other scene, but when the shit comes down to it, our world reaches out, which is dope. And I want to say to you and all the Wisdom Camp, it was great to see you guys and all that good shit. But what I was saying is also going to New York, it was weird because we went there during stage 1. It was still, right? It was stage 1 or whatever you call it, right? Is that it was still in the first stage. Yeah. And obviously we had to be real careful and all that, but I saw how some people would react. I saw people with gloves. I saw some people that wouldn't hug you, and then some people that would hug. So I knew everybody reacts different to this shit. The people that I didn't expect to be weird with it, some of them were weird with it, and vice versa.
Yeah, and where you had the viewing was, and of course our condolences, and what a rough time. For that to happen at any time is horrible, but especially during this, it probably was so many hurdles to jump to make things happen, But the neighborhood that it was in, when I was there in Queens, I was told that was like the epicenter of the world as far as infections and breakouts, and that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, so that's Corona, Queens. That's my old neighborhood. And
how weird is that Corona, Queens is the epicenter for the Corona?
I know, and a big part of it is, there's a lot of people living on top of each other. It's very crowded. And the fact is, it's a Latin community, and a lot of the Latin community are the ones that make the city heart beat as far as the kitchens and, staffs at these buildings and stuff. So these people were working throughout a lot of shit. And, we could go into politics with that whole shit, but the fact is that, you know what I mean? That was a lot of the nightlife people and the people that couldn't get time off or take off of work, or, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's pretty crazy that we had to go into the belly of the beast during that time. But which was we lucked out in was that I got homeboys that lost family members and they weren't even able to go have a wake or even be there at the burial. So
I heard about some of those circumstances. Unbelievable, man.
It's fucking horrible. This whole shit is horrible. But I thank God. Yeah, I believe in God. Not to all you Satan worshippers out there.
Whoa. Who does that?
But Yo, shout out to Eric Rutan and all you devil worshipping metalhead dudes out there, and Paul for fucking Black Anvil. But I feel blessed that we were lucky enough to be able to give my mother the send off that she deserved, and everybody coming together is what my family needed. You need to see it, feel it, too. So. But
during those times, to be alone is the worst. Like to be alone and just dwell in everything, like just to have something to do. Even like I almost think it's an intentional thing to have, okay, someone in your family died. Now you have to do this. Now you have to do that. It's almost like gives you these things to do, keep your mind occupied with the next task instead of just dwelling on these horrible things, man.
Exactly. It keeps your mind going. And I get the idea of a wake. Well, wakes in the old days, they said, were to make sure the dude was dead. Like the cowboy day. Yeah, that's what I heard. Wakes were to make sure that person was dead. So if they owed money or they were getting looked for, you could prove it. But
I bet you some dude scammed then. Some dude's like, oh,
absolutely.
Tell him I'm dead.
You owe money.
Oh, if he's dead, I want to go to the wake. I got to watch him for a few hours.
That's right. Or if you got one side piece too many. And,
shit!
And one girl gets your email address, and then it's a wrap.
You got a BM on each side of the coffin, looking at you, waiting for you to open one eye.
Exactly, but I saw that. Well, again, shout out to the world for looking out and feeling it. I felt it, and again, I do this shit talking to give you guys something. Since I can't give you money, I could give you some time to kill with fucking me and my people. But all right, so that was my whole thing. People were, that whole, we traveled in and out pretty easy, thank God, and everybody's good on this side. Nobody got sick, so that's good. But what I did notice during this whole shit, once that slowed down, and even right before it, I found myself bugging out, even though I hate saying jail. I say it joking around because we know people that were in jail for real. But I got that mentality. I really felt like, I started working out. You start watching how you eat. You start thinking of people, of your life. You start thinking of other people's life. You start thinking, what am I doing with my life? And that's what's still being allowed to go shopping. And then I start thinking about the people that got to look at a 4-wall cell fucking hours a day. You know what I mean? And don't see it. You know what I mean? But
and that takes me back to the Spoken Word podcast. One of my favorite, because I like podcasts. Kill time. You travel a lot, so podcast comes in handy. I travel a lot, plus to do this stupid commute, so I'm always listening to podcasts. But one of my favorite single episodes of any podcast was your podcast with Scott Ebanks.
Yeah,
because that first time you had him on, and the way he was just fire with the tongue. He was giving a perspective of things that you wouldn't think, and it makes you, like you just said, thankful.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like especially with him, because I had questions that I also found real interesting and crazy, and that's why we listen to podcasts. You try to get perspectives. Yeah, you try to get entertainment, and sometimes you get a perspective of an angle you never seen.
Somebody else's head. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's the thing that people got to realize, because I'm a hard-headed guy. So if you tell me shit, I don't want to hear it sometimes. But if I hear it, it absorbs in a different way.
Yeah.
But that's why I was asking. So you were lucky that you were able to work and kind of keep you, a little bit busy. But did you find anything else out of your daily routine did your brain start fucking with you in any way? Or your daily routines, did you add something to it? Did you change something to it?
I go for a walk with my girl like every night. Go for a walk under the stars, every time there's a full moon, look forward to a full moon, seeing it. It sounds crazy, but every night outside of maybe 2 nights because of rain, I did that every night since this whole thing started.
So that's like a good thing. That's like a good thing. Like you spending more time with your people.
Yeah. Well, the people that you can, but you got close friends that you can't see at all,
I know.
But outside of that, I'm the kind of dude, like I kind of, if you tell me there's a nuclear missile headed this way, what are you gonna do? I ain't sweating it. Let's eat one more meatball hero and call it a day. But I could see why people are bugging right now. I could understand. You know what I mean? It's just personally, I'm like, what are you gonna do? Nothing you could do. So, let's do this. Let's do this. Whatever we can do.
Yeah, and let me ask you: is your girl working or she's not working?
She was working early on from home because she was living in Chicago.
Yeah,
and she was doing stuff from home. She's like a district manager over all these stores, and so she would just sign on the computer, have meetings that way, kind of like what we're doing now for work. But what was interesting with her work was during the riots, she could sign into all of her stores and see a live feed. We were watching those stores get looted in real time. Yo,
that's nuts.
Yo, I'm not even kidding. One store, they banged out the back door. They go in. You see a woman walking in with a little baby. Like the whole neighborhood went in this joint. One was holding a baby. I was like, this is some wild times, bro. This is crazy.
I believe it. I knew this was a crazy thing when I saw it. Looked like some white lady or so. It might have been like some Asian lady or I don't know what she was, but she was walking out with a cheesecake.
Wow.
Literally, there's a riot going on, walking out of a store with a cheesecake. And, but you know what I was wondering was this. Oh, so your girl, she's been mentally all right as far as
she gets bummed out like a little bit, you know what I mean? So I try to, do a little clown and dance, cheer him up a little bit, do what I got to do. Yeah. But yeah, she does. I see that. My sister, I see her doing, getting bummed out. This is ridiculous with the whole summer shot. I can't take this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that I agree. Yeah. That's like the petty way of looking at things. The thing that was fucking with me was, okay, one, you think about work because everybody knows musicians got hit hard and everybody in the music business. But
yes,
like I said, you could still literally go outside if wanted. You can do a lot of things, but something about that shit started getting to me. Like,
I bet, man.
I don't know. Is also looking at my future. What is my future? Because of this whole thing. One, but also like I don't think I've been home this long. This in a straight clip in like 25 years.
It was something called cabin fever.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
And that's what I'm saying. I wake up every day. I'm fucking doing dumbbells. I'm doing fucking Hindu squats. I'm doing I'm doing a sleeping dog. What's that shit? That one yogi position.
Yeah, I heard of it, but
yeah, I saw it. I saw Adam Blake do it. I don't really do it. I watch Adam Blake do it.
Yeah, he's good at that shit.
Yeah, he's good. And
that's good. You're working out though, right? Like,
no. Again, like in jail, like I started understand how people in jail start watching when they eat, they start working out, and how it helps your brain kind of readjust.
Yeah. When that's all you got,
Yeah.
When you got options to do other shit, usually working out is like one of the last things I'll do,
Yeah, exactly. And you said it right there, that I think it's the lack of options is what's fucking with us, that we took for granted. Like, we could just go to a movie. We could just go walk into a fucking store. Yeah. We could just go to our favorite restaurant, sit down and eat something. You know what I mean?
And I miss shows, bro. I miss the shows.
I was one of those dudes that I would be like, I was never like the fake angry older guy who'll be like, yeah, I hate shows. I was like, I love shows, but I realized how much I really loved them and missed them.
Yeah.
Like, again, like,
that's our social life. This was
the black and blue. Absolutely. And you don't realize it till it's gone. I never waited for a black and blue more than this one. Like,
this was going to be so good too, man.
And besides the bill, just the point, like I literally said, I want to see all my people from the ones I don't like very much to the ones I love. I always want to be able to see them. Yeah. Give them a fist bump, or give the ones I love the hug, or if it's the one to talk shit about. I was like, man, like,
it's basically a lost holiday is what it is. It's like a year without Christmas. You know, let's be
Yeah.
honest. For people like us, it's a year without Christmas.
Yeah, and it's fucking and again, a Christmas every other year. It just becomes it's just Christmas. But when you
Yeah.
don't have it, it's like that thing. You don't know what you got till you lose it, kind of thing.
Cinderella
But
song, son.
yeah, yeah. Is it? Oh, talk to Eric, hair metal, Allentown Eric.
Yo, what a guy. Have you
Yo.
ever seen The Office, the TV show The Office?
No, I know the show. I seen a couple of episodes, but I never followed it much.
There's a guy on there that
It's
whenever
funny,
he talks, I think of Eric, this one dude. I don't know the character's name, though. He's like a big guy with he's kind of bald on top with hair on the side. And every time he talks,
I know the guy you're talking about.
yeah, he kind of has a phrasing. Maybe he's imitating like a Lehigh Valley kind of, because I know it takes place in PA somewhere, but he just reminds me of Eric's like phrasing and stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Actually, I'm gonna get him on here one of these days. That guy.
You got to.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's how he came up in the kickboxing world, very, very fucking interesting, very crazy, unique. But
And
this
how
is
many
what I was
belts
gonna
did he
tell you
have?
next.
Oh, go.
Oh no. He had. I think he won 3 or 4 world titles, but I only let him claim 1.5.
How come?
Because I can't give him too much pride.
1.5 is nice, yo. He should be happy with that.
Yeah, that's what I say. He's lucky he's even on my radar. Like I
he's
said,
lucky you didn't write his Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna fix his Wikipedia.
1.5 belts.
Exactly. But what I was gonna say. You talking about The Office? That's what I was gonna ask you next. Have you been following anything or watching anything new? Because remember in the beginning of this whole shit, it was the Lion King. It was the Tiger King craze.
Yeah.
Right? And that was the big talk that killed the first 2-3 months of this pandemic fuckery shit.
Yeah.
Have you been watching anything new? Have you fucking discovered anything new?
I was watching a show. I think it was on Netflix called The Order. And it's pretty goofy. It's pretty goofy, but it was entertaining. Kind of like about I don't know what the hell you would call it, like a secret society in college of kids that do magic and shit like that. And there's a werewolf fraternity fighting them. Totally ridiculous, but it
Dungeons
killed,
and Dragons.
Yeah, it killed like 4 or 5 days. You know what I mean? But like you said, like I was never one to bulk watch all this stuff, but during this thing, that Tiger King definitely killed a few weeks for me, you know?
Yeah.
And when that ended, I was kind of like, damn, what I'm gonna do now? Like push-ups all day, Doritos and push-ups. Like I gotta have something else to do. But yeah, not too much, man. I'm not like a super crazy movie guy. I rewatched Goodfellas, rewatched Casino. I was thinking about starting The Sopranos over, but it takes a little more discipline than I have to sit there, you know, and like.
Yeah, I was the same way. But you know what I fucking binge watch is Survivor. I think me, Scott Vogel, and one other person is the TV show are the only 3 people on the planet I know that watch this. I feel like a moron. But somebody else must be watching this show because they got 36 seasons or some shit.
It's really popular, but I don't personally know anyone until you now that ever watches it.
Yeah, it's crazy. But, I watch it because it's also like a soap opera in the way that you don't got to really pay attention to every second to it, know, then you kind of jump in and out. There's people you hate, people you like, and then you keep it moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole, everybody had the Tiger King thing. And then, now, everybody is done with that. Now everybody's a news reporter, know, and that's why I was also, I was, everybody's reporting the news. And like, I have people telling me about what's going on in my own state.
Like what are you? Well, with what people, like your peers, with what your peers think of this thing. Are you watching? Are you taking notes how divided people are just over like just current events right now?
Oh, absolutely. But to me, it was nothing new except now people get to see. It's like when you take the screen over television and you see all the insides now. It was always there, but there was something in front of it covering it, feeding you a product that all those pieces make. So, a lot of people, it's this way, it's that way. It's always been that way. Now they got a platform to rock on that side. You know, it's like now everybody's surprised that a president is doing some foul shit on the side. Guess what? That's been going on since the first caveman running his fucking tribe. He was banging some other cave woman on the side, stealing somebody else's clubs, you know what I mean, and selling it to another tribe. You know what I mean? Everybody acts so surprised, and they want to think that if it ain't my guy, the other guy's the good guy. When nobody's thinking, hey, maybe everybody's bad, except one's presentation might be better than the others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But there could be levels of their badness, though. No.
All right. Okay. One is a pedophile. The other one sends drone strikes and kills millions of little kids. You pick what's worse.
Well, that's the only options you give me. I mean, come on, can you give me something?
Well, of course. Look, we got to go hard or go home.
Damn.
My point is, I ain't backing nobody, but there's some foul shit on every levels where that whole pedophile shit is the worst, hands down. All that and any force shit on anybody, that all that type of shit has no room, has no place on this planet or any planet. Because if you gotta fucking force anything to happen, that tells you the type of person you are. You know what I mean?
Now, when you talk of pedophile, who you talking about?
No, there's a lot of people. I'm not talking about any.
Because that's like the new thing.
But
like,
exactly.
Could just the term and the attack of "you're a pedophile" could that just be the new like silver bullet?
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody finds a buzzword. It was selfie a couple of months ago. Pandemic is the new one, and pedophile is that. You know, people that have been sexually abused or have children that's been. First of all, that's fucking. I can't even think about it.
Horrific.
But horrific in every way. So the people that are using those words just to manipulate or to get a story, that's fucking almost as bad as you know, as doing it, because you're trying to bank on somebody suffering, which is just as bad in my book. You know what I mean? But again, that's nothing new. We know about what was his name? That old director. He had famous director. Everybody jocks.
Weinstein.
He left the country because
that guy.
Before him, the movie director. Yeah, the movie director back in the day.
Coppola.
One of these, I forgot what his name, but he got. It was one of these guys who got caught with a younger girl.
Yeah,
he had to live overseas. He got exiled. Yeah, but then that's it. Okay, fine. His movies ain't boycotted. His nothing is nothing. Now you call somebody a spick. You call somebody a fag. You call somebody all these words. No, but now that, I know
what you mean.
In this day and age, gets right away. You don't even get a chance to explain yourself.
Yeah.
Which, look at, we all know, we all grew up a certain way, and we've also grown, and obviously everybody has a place in this world. You know what I mean? Well, who you're with sexually, that's literally the last shit that should be on anybody's business, period. But now they using buzzwords, which I don't like how they do that, because you could slander somebody, in a very serious way, just again to sell your agenda. And my whole thing is everybody's using that to also push their somehow they leak pedophiles to wearing a mask. You know that, right?
Yeah. What is
like,
that like?
Not like directly like that, but like, oh, well, if you back this guy up, he's known for a pedophile ring. This guy's also, a left wing or right wing or whatever. Yeah. And his beliefs are this. So he believes all this, they shape shift their,
Shapeshift. I like that.
Their name calling their name calling to direct you into the way you should think. And that's my problem with this. But over here, like, I hear a lot. Again, I'm in the South. Florida is a very interesting area because it's the dirty South. Yeah, but it ain't just that. You also have a lot. Look at, you got white trash, but you got white trash everywhere. That's America.
PA's the kingdom of that shit.
Shout out to all my white trash people out there. You know we got love for you, but you have southern white, southern Florida style whites,
Yeah.
and you have a big Latin community.
Yeah.
Now in Florida, there's a big Republican Latin community down here.
The Cubans.
They tend, yeah, all that comes from the days of Fidel and communism. Then
Yeah.
that goes into its own thing, and that's a whole nother story. But I see in the South the walls that the world is seeing now. How they're talking about, let's say Donald Trump saying, "Oh, now you see the division with people." That division was always there, and in the South, it was always drawn like that. Like it's you hear the N word, you hear the spick word, you hear the whatever. Like it's literally black, white, Latins, and Latins tend to go with the whites more in some areas, where in other areas Latins and blacks are more together. You know what I mean? It's weird how how it works for what part of the state you live in. So I've been hearing a lot of, down here it seems like they're still on that wild west shit, which I back some of it, where I don't need the government telling me to live my life. CasaDeRock.com, home of that fly DIY. You want to support the show? Go cop some merch right now. We got a lot of new t-shirts, shorts, and caps available. Everything is made in-house by your boy on the spot. So show some love, support the movement. CasaDeRock.com is the spot. But there is a thing of you thinking about other people. Like, you know what I mean? If you care about your country so much, what does it hurt to wear a mask? I understand they connected with, is this and that agenda is connected to this and that. Okay, let's start with one thing right now. Is let's try to bring these numbers down, even though a lot of them are fake, but there is a lot of people getting affected by this shit. Yeah. But I'm a mask guy. Not that I think you should you have to wear it I wear it everywhere I go, like if needed. Not when I'm outside by myself, but if I go into a store, I put it on. I don't see the big deal.
Do you have to down there?
I mean? Yeah. To go into stores and shit, you have to.
Yeah.
And like I also, you know a lot about that stuff, about the whole how people think about the whole the brainwashing people and getting people ready, just letting people start taking control over how people live. But and over here I see it towards everybody's trying to fight the government, but they're hurting themselves by doing that at the moment. Yeah. Now let me ask you, Pennsylvania is an American state. Like Pennsylvania is fucking America.
You know what it says when you cross into Pennsylvania on the sign? It says America starts here.
Oh shit, does?
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me ask you, what's the word out there? So basically down here, it seems like they go towards how people would look at the right handling the situation, where we should have our own, make our own what do you call it? Make up our own minds to open our businesses, and we'll be responsible for our own things. What's the word up there?
It's real mixed up here. Like you have that element of the people saying, "Oh, this infringes on our freedoms. No one tells us to wear a mask. You can't tell us to close or open a private business." There's those people, and then there's the people that are just like, listen, let's get the numbers down. Let's do what they are recommending, and then see what happens. And then there's people like me. If the store says you got to wear a mask, I don't think twice. I just put a mask on. And if you don't got to wear a mask, I don't think twice. I just walk around with no mask. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I see the mask as like a seatbelt. Like all of a sudden, seatbelts were law. Like it said federally across the country, you have to wear a seatbelt. Why? They're not, like people say, masks aren't even 100% safe or effective. Yeah. Neither are seatbelts, but you still have to wear them. Is that the same infringement on your freedom as wearing a mask in somebody's private business? I don't think so. I don't think it's a huge deal. Yeah. But maybe I'm wrong. there's a lot of conspiracy theories, and I love them. I follow all of them.
I know you do.
You know,
Hell yeah, that's what
I'm really interested in them. But if for a lot of people, this one doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because what is the goal of the ruthless elite, the people they call they? What is their goal? Their goal is to keep us home and not shopping, not mindlessly going to the bars and drinking.
Yeah.
Like, so do they lose money? Their goal is for us to stop watching sports. And because they used to say sports were a tactic from the elite to keep our mind off what's really going on. So now they cut out sports. So now everybody is hyper focused on what's going on. It just seems like worldwide, it's a conspiracy, it's a worldwide conspiracy. And
Absolutely.
I haven't seen any reputable world leader coming out and saying this is some bullshit. Not one. So that makes me think, okay, there's some legitimate and real fear among people that have power that this thing could get out of hand and be very deadly. But a portion of me also thinks this is some bullshit. I just don't know why it would be bullshit. Like, what is there to gain by these people? There is one thing I noticed, and that's with the financial help they gave, a huge portion of it just went to really already wealthy people, and it consolidated a lot of wealth over these last few months. And
for sure.
So there's something to be gained on that end, but there's a lot of multi-billionaires, even billionaires, that are taking a big hit during this. And you figure they have power, and if this was some bullshit, they would be on it saying, spilling the guts on what they know. I don't know where to go with this thing. You know, people that were sick from it. I talked to Scott from Terror last night. He had it. He was fucked up. Yeah, and he's still going through the effects from it right now. He said it was really fucked up, caused a lot of damage.
I didn't know that. Shout out to Scott. Shout out to the Birdman.
If you want to hear Scott's story, it's coming up on a Post America podcast interview. He tells the whole layout, where he thinks he got it. Dirty ass Ohio, and those dirty motherfuckers gave him the corona. Poor Scott goes to California. But
shout out to Ohio.
But it's some bullshit, man.
Let me ask you this, with that being said, because I think basically the same way, and a lot of my people think the same way as you. Do you think that our era of the scene, I'm just speaking for our scene, a lot of people in our age group that came up the same way we did are kind of on the same page with looking at this? Do you think the later generations on board with the mentality we have, that okay, we still play it safe, but we're also questioning? You think that the later generation of kids are questioning like we did?
You mean earlier generation?
Like,
the
our
younger
generation being, we're not the first generation of this hardcore thing or this whatever you want to call it, our hardcore world, but there's been generations after us, from the next generation after the mad balls and after the wisdoms, you know what I mean? You think, do those kids are have that? We come again, our era still had some of the punk rock elements of question authority. Punk rockers wanted to destroy when hardcore wanted to build, but we all questioned.
Yeah,
that comes from the punk part of it.
I know what you're saying now.
You think the kids now are still questioning and keeping it, like trying to make their own answers for these things as much as we did?
Well, I think when you look at the guys before us, they're like hyper skeptical. They almost don't believe nothing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then our level guys are kind of like, yeah, fuck this, fuck that. Okay, maybe that's legit. I'll mind my own business on this one. I'm not too sure about that. And then a younger generation of hardcore dudes seem, when it comes to government right now, they seem very submissive to just, hey, get in line, man. But when it comes to cops, they seem ultra anti-cop.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they're attacking dudes just for like being in a picture with a cop. And that's the real young dudes. So it's kind of like there's a little contradiction among the younger hardcore kids because they're so anti-cop, but kind of pro-government and government regulations, government recommendations. Like if you're a band, if Madball wanted to play a show right now, Madball would catch a ton of heat from younger hardcore kids saying that's irresponsible, that's dangerous, that's fucked up. So
Not, yeah,
you
it's
know what I
crazy.
mean?
Yeah, no, you're right, and not
Yeah.
like going, not like stage diving head first into a crowd with a big hole ain't dangerous.
Yeah.
They would. A lot
Exactly.
of people have to. Yeah, they don't prioritize what's dangerous. They oh, this is dangerous, but yet they do
Yeah.
freaking 5 8 balls of blow in one night, and they're fucking they're doing shit on a daily that could kill them. You know what I mean?
Not only that, but if there was a hardcore show to pop up and they put their time and effort to like dissing those bands or calling out those bands, but they say nothing or do nothing to the Targets or Walmarts of America, come on, where's your priority really at? I could see if they say, I'm not going to that show because I think that's dangerous, irresponsible, and they keep it moving. Hey, have your opinion. But when they're, it's like they say it's a foul bird that attacks its own nest. When they come at hardcore bands for having a different opinion, that's not an obscene, like, white supremacy opinion, nothing like that, then it just seems like, counterproductive to me. Yeah, but I think the younger ones, they're super anti-cop. So you're like, oh, they're going to the demonstrations, they're marching, and me as a hardcore dude, I can't lie, I love when shit gets crazy and they start burning places down. I like when they break windows, and maybe one day I'll have to eat my words and they'll burn my house down. I'll be like, well, but when they're burning a CVS down, when they're burning down some bank, when they're breaking the windows of a police precinct, I gotta admit, I like that shit.
I know what you mean, and in some ways I know what you mean, and I like to see kids rebel. I like to see kids that when you're young, that you're fighting for something that's real. Not, you know what I mean? Like you have a real cause and you're executing it. Yeah. But my point is this: we could take it back to a pedophile or to a straight out mass murderer or whatever. Why nobody's going to their houses and fucking ripping these people out of their houses and fucking showing them what time it is or where you should go and where you really belong? Let's start with the gutter first. You know what I mean? My whole thing is, I hear you go against the CVS and whatever, but we rock Nikes. Yep, we have a Champion hoodie on. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I hear, you're taking money from the corporate people, but are you? You're
organizing a protest on an iPhone.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And let me ask you, do you think people would be protesting the way they do without iPhones or having a fucking Insta feed?
It would be impossible. So there's going to always be hypocrisy. We could point it out anywhere. We could find what's your most perfect vision. And outside of Black Sabbath, we could find hypocrisy anywhere.
Black Sabbath.
In the church. In the church, in the banking system, in the oil industry. Anywhere you could find hypocrisy. And even among protesters, you could find hypocrisy. That's easy. We could find hypocrisy in the Oval Office. Everything, it's easy. But
everything.
Who is willing to go into the streets and do something? I give them a pass then for the hypocrisy. Yeah, you're wearing your Nikes. Yeah, you made the call on Instagram or Facebook through your iPhone, which was built by basically modern day slaves. I get it, but it's something
to the rhythm.
Instead of total contentness, you know what I mean? Because before this, it seemed everyone was totally content. Do whatever you like, as long as I got something to do. I could complain about it a little bit, but there's no way I'm leaving my house to do something about it. Now, literally millions of people took to the street. Whether you think the cause is good, bad, legit, I'd like to see it,
Yeah, proactive.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? That as a kid, I hated politics. I understood it, but I was like, I never really gave a fuck about it. And were you always into politics as far as like even in a small level? Not till like
I watched the news
thing came.
I watch the news like people watch the NFL. I watch all of it. The real right wing stuff, real left wing stuff. It's like entertainment to me for whatever reason. I could see when people say, "Oh, I had enough of this news. It's bugging me out. I can't." For some reason, it just didn't bother me, but I did like it. I wanted to see what this guy said, and then the next guy says about the same topic something totally different. Then they bring out their experts, and the experts are reputable people with degrees, and they find one guy to back their version and another guy. It's crazy. So you cannot find any like really comforting, easy to digest truth anymore, because someone can
Yeah,
contradict and say, "Oh no, this guy's an expert too. He says that's bullshit," and then your head is spinning. So I always loved the news. Then the conspiracy stuff, I started like
yeah,
maybe 25 years ago, and I was like, yo,
yeah,
during that time I saw so many calls for a big thing to happen, the end of the world to happen, the government to do
yeah,
something crazy, and it just never came outside of 9/11. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You know what opened my eyes to a lot of that shit that got me as far as into the conspiracy was shout out to Carl and Earth Crisis. But when we
Mm,
were on tour with them years ago, he told me, "Yo, you got to read this book, Behold the Pale White Horse."
yeah,
Then that opened up the world and got my brain thinking of stuff that I kind of wondered about.
yeah,
But all right, now let me ask you this: with all this shit going on, you've been writing music. You say you guys been working on music.
yes,
Does
nonstop.
are the, is the new tracks have anything to do with the stuff going on now, or they're just songs you've been wanting to do? Like, do you think the situation now gave you a little bit of fire for these new songs?
Musically, yeah, but lyrically, we're like not to that point yet. So, couple, like we do all the music first, then we get lyrics together. Almost, I'd say 90% of the lyrics are from our singer. So until I hear what he's got, I'm not too sure, but it's, knowing him, yeah, it's going to be topics of the day. You know what I mean? I'll write some stuff that'll definitely coincide with what's going on. So I don't know where he is really with lyrics right now, but I imagine
Yeah,
it's good. But musically, yeah, musically inspired by what I'm hearing. I'm not
yeah,
like writing real heavy, crazy stuff. For some reason, a little more melodic than normal, but it's almost like I like to do almost opposite of what's going on at the time. You know what I mean?
yeah. This is what I wanted. I was going to ask you anyway, and you kind of talked about it that you're doing a little stuff more melodic. You guys always had a weird. That's the thing I loved about you guys, that your influences, if it was metal or if it was, this is what I was going to tell you, or something else, it was never the typical metal mix with the typical other mix in your style. I always heard more, and it's funny because I heard you guys talk about skins and oi music. I always took the melodic part of wisdom as being more towards the oi than towards the straight punk rock. I'm an oi guy. If I had to listen, I wasn't a punk dude. I loved oi,
Yeah.
and I always heard oi and hardcore mixed with some of the tracks that you guys did. Where did that influence come from? Because I know you're also a more, Guns N' Roses type of, maybe Metallica type,
Yeah.
in general guitar kind of guy. Where did that influence come from? And am I right by saying the oi, or you guys felt that it was more towards the old traditional punk
Yeah.
style of things?
If you hear Oi, that's like, yeah, we're more when we write influenced by Oi. I used to love like a band called 999 way back in the day, a band called The Crack, a band,
Who else?
The Crack. They're called The Crack.
I never.
And then, of course, Cockspar, who I always said is one of the great songwriting bands ever. You know what I mean? But then there was so much crappy oi that I didn't get into the oi scene. But I did the same with punk. I would like just certain punk bands that, to me, did it the best. And I didn't get into the
Yeah,
scene. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But writing oi
Because
songs
I always,
comes more natural with a guy like Joe's voice. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So I always threw him some oi flavored stuff here and there. And then once he was like,
Because
I thought,
you know what's crazy is that I didn't start dissecting your music till a little later, and I think Evan was already in the band when I started like dissecting it. So I
yeah,
used to say, "Oh, I think that influence must come from Evan because I know he liked that type of stuff. He liked a lot of more melodic." I didn't know that stuff was also you.
yeah. Well, you know what? Evan is more like a real actual into punk. Like he
Yeah,
loves punk stuff, West Coast punk stuff. He was in that band Big Wig.
yeah,
Him and Joe had a punk, like old school hardcore punk band called Feeble. Uh, he was in a punk band called the Overdrives. So he's a punk dude. If you do hear punk, it might be some Evans influence. But as far as Oi, I bite off the bands that I loved. If anybody hasn't heard The Crack, listen to The Crack because they wrote a lot of great songs. Everybody knows Coxbar, how they write. And then the band 999, which I don't know if you would consider them Oi. Maybe they were like pre-Oi. But when I was a little kid, I don't know how I came across them, but I was listening to this band all the time. And they're kind of like a weird band, but I think it's like an early version of Oi from England, you know.
Yeah,
I can't say the Oi scene did it, but those bands, those Oi bands.
Well, yeah, definitely. I know you wouldn't have to be in the scene, but I never knew that influence came from you because I heard the Oi stuff in it more than on a punk side of it, and I'm more of an Oi guy, so I always bugged out, and that's the thing I always liked about you guys. And if you guys mix metal, it wasn't the typical metal; it was more an era of metal that you use, a specific era of metal. That's what Madball would do. We would mix Judas Priest and like Black Sabbath and James Brown. That's Madball. Well, you know what I mean? Like in Raw Deal. That's what made Madball up. And when I heard you guys, I heard a certain era of thrash and a certain era of even Oi. And again, we came up this very, very similar. So I was wondering who was who in the mix for all that stuff. For like,
I guess we all like some Oi, but like if it's something like one of our songs written, it's probably something I did because I just think Joe sounds good over Oi style riffs, and I try to throw him the keys around his voice and this and that. And
no, that's good.
That's me biting some of those bands.
And now, but this is what I love about what makes hardcore up. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people also try in our world. They try to shit on metal. Yet there's no New York hardcore without metal, because if it wasn't for Discharge, mixing English, punk with English metal, we wouldn't get that.
That's probably one of the
sound.
Key bands for that whole crossover, right?
Hands
gotta be
down. Shout out to Terry Bones. That's to me one of the what's considered a real one of the real nucleuses of what hardcore is in my book. In my opinion. Yeah. Because as you know, I'm not a Ramones guy. I never liked the Ramones. I always thought they were goofy. And I know everybody's going to say, yeah, they're the first this, the first that. Well, the first dude to make music, I'm not going to relate to him because he was a caveman hitting two rocks together. We want to go back to what's the DNA.
The Ramones aren't that far removed, though.
Are you kidding me? I tell you this straight up. When I hear them, I feel embarrassed. And I have nothing to do with it. Like, it makes me feel goofy because
I could see the goofy kind of feel good, fun element to it, but they write catchy, good songs, and they were a big influence on the people that would eventually influence.
And so was the Beatles, who you don't like, but yet
no, I don't like.
But exactly,
I get why people like them.
And they influenced the greatest band in the world, Black Sabbath. Yeah. Again, I hate the Ramones, but I understand their spot in our history.
There you go. That's good.
But
that's good.
Also, American history has a lot of shit that we're not proud of, like the Confederate
slavery,
flag.
the Ramones, the Confederate flag.
Exactly, same shit. Same shit. All right, so let me ask you this. Who are the four faces, and meaning four bands of the hardcore Mount Rushmore? Who's your Mount Rushmore? You got to pick four.
Four right now?
In general, like
whatever. They don't have to. Okay.
Now, look at the Lower East Side has a mountain that pops up, and Stigma, and we got Luke's up there with his construction crew about to chisel these fucking faces. Who's gonna be the four bands of that Mount Rushmore of ours?
For me, it's simple. Agnostic Front. That's the first one. You go Agnostic Front. You go Sick of It All. You go Madball, and you go Terror.
Thank you.
For me, that's my kind of hardcore. And the fact that, a lot of like the first three bands basically shared members with other projects, and with Craig being Agnostic Front, and then, and a kind of Agnostic Front setting off Madball's path. And I was just talking to Armand the other day, and he mentioned how, and it made me put Madball into more of a perspective, because I always thought Madball, and it was like my generation stuff. And he was like, oh, when we were first coming up, it was really just, for the most part, us and then Madball hitting these circuits in Europe and doing it. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, Madball's kind of, I was like, they came up with you guys more? He's like, well, yeah, a little after, but really that was our generation. And I'm like, wow, yeah. Like, I, for some reason, I always put Sick of It All farther back.
I do too, because
yeah.
We used to pay to go see them. Well, we used to sneak in to go see them.
Yeah.
But
he put it in a little perspective, though. Like, wow, Madball's been kicking it like that. And no wonder I put them in that category. But those are the 4 bands easy. And I got to give Terror props because relentless work ethic. And I think their newest album is their best album. And that's usually a rare thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we talked about it a lot. We talked a lot. And that's the thing I love about Terror, that the work ethic, and also like, the music just bangs you over the head. Like they keep they sound good, they play good, and they rep their shit. They live that shit. That's why I got a lot of love for them, and I love, they're great players. I always love playing with them. You know what I mean? They're great. And
no gimmicks. Watch. You know what I mean? No gimmicks.
For sure.
No strain off the path. Oh, this is what's popping now. Let's try that. Oh, this? No, they It sounds like Terror.
And again, that's what I love, because again, Vogel and all those guys are like you, me, and whatever. We grew up with the same kind of morals and the same kind of, we make similar choices in how we want to be, how we want to represent, and what we want to be associated with. Now, let me ask you this. So, Post America, this is a question I had about the podcast. So, everybody who's listening to this, you definitely gonna know the Post America podcast. That's one of my favorite podcasts. Let me tell you, that shit, I listen to you motherfuckers all the time. So I know the whole shit anyway. That's why little by little I'm gonna pull your card in the day come shit. Like you eating meat, we went through that whole shit and all that.
Oh my God. Ancient history is bringing
but let me ask you this, and I know a little bit of it, but how did you get the name? What made you decide, like when you came up with that name? Like I know, you guys have you definitely talk about a lot of the state of the world in general. And, like with the conspiracies and everything, that name, break it down real quick. Like, how did you come up with it? And what's your explanation of that name?
We all would listen to that crazy guy, Alex Jones, when we'd be on long van trips, going to shows. Yeah, Alex Jones is a crazy, people like will probably be upset that we even listen to the guy, but we've been listening to him and other people for 20 years. And we just, it just is what it is. And he mentioned one time Post America. And then he was talking to somebody. He's like, Post America, it's a new America. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. It's everything we knew from the past will be done. Blah, blah, Post America. That, this way is coming. It's going to be what we thought of America is all dead. And then there's this. And then we always thought, wow, that's dope. And then I heard it in a rap song. Somebody said Post America. Wow. And then I said, oh, fuck it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then when we were going over names for the podcast, I just threw it out there. And the guy said, all right, let's do it. Post America podcast. And a lot of people don't think twice. They just say it. But yeah, what it means is kind of like we're living in a time where we're like our generation, we were born in America, but we might not die in that kind of place that we were born in, especially now, living through 9/11, and then this stuff pops off. It's a very different place than the place me and you were kids in. You know what I mean?
Sure. Crazy.
Yeah. So it's like the new, the new America, the America after what we were born in.
How long now you had the podcast going, and how many episodes you guys got now? Like I forgot. I looked the other day. I know it was like
we got over 100, but we've been going for like years. But we are so half-assed with it. You know what I mean? Like I just because Joe started working again, and we weren't doing this face-to-face like we used to. Joe couldn't get his shit working on his computer, so I just busted out a couple interviews, just one-on-one with dudes, just to keep it going. But only a little over 100. But I mean, we probably been going for like I don't know how many years, 6 years maybe.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, it's great, and again, it's hard to be consistent. But you guys are, even with your little gaps, you guys jump on board again real quick. That was my problem in the past, but the difference is from when I had the Smokin word back in the day was the technology's up. Like now we're doing this on Zoom. We have a visual and we have a decent feed. And, of course it's always better in person, but this is, this is just as good, and it's a simpler format to put something out there. And
Yeah. And back
I
in the
was
day, you weren't doing a like over the phone or over computer interview without top notch equipment. Like you
exactly.
just wouldn't. Everything had to be face to face, so it was real hard. But yeah, like this does make that aspect easier. It's still great to be face to face, but I'm
Hell yeah.
glad you're doing it because when you had yours going, we loved it. And like I
Yeah,
said, that one particular episode
cool.
goes in my top
Yeah,
episodes of any
thanks.
podcast of all time.
Yeah,
You were just giving him the right questions, and
yeah,
he
no,
was.
yeah, no. That one, I'm definitely proud of that too, because I was basically introducing my boy to the world, and I wanted everybody to
You were.
know the
Yeah.
in and outs and from how he looked, because we couldn't give a visual. Now we got a
Mhm.
visual with stuff and whatever, and I wanted, me, we love talking shit, and we love what do you call it, going in. We love going real deep and digging in. When
Yeah,
we
yeah.
find something we like, we dig in, we dig in.
Yeah, for
So this
real.
is what, bringing this back. I said I'll bring it back when I know I could do it semi consistently, which is my plan.
Mhm.
And I think it's a great platform and shit, just to keep everybody informed in our bands, what we're doing,
Yeah.
and all that stuff, our podcast, and also, bringing the people into, being a fly on the wall, at our
Yeah,
backs.
and listen, nobody else looks out for hardcore. Nobody promotes it.
Facts.
There's nowhere to hear it unless you find it yourself. There's nobody talking about it. There's no news about it. So this, having podcasts, that's like our way of doing our thing. We're our own newscasters of our own
Yeah,
scene.
exactly.
It's something extra that we didn't have before. We had zines for a while, for us, by us. Now we got
Yep.
these things. If nobody's gonna do it, we'll do it.
And you guys understand it, because you do it the same reason we do. We don't do it for money. Ain't nobody paying us. If you want to pay us, that's great. But
Yeah,
we do
man.
it because it's like we're reaching out to extended friends and family, or future friends and family members that need to get put on. People forget, if you're not talking about it, or you're not keeping the history alive, or your thoughts, if you don't keep what you call it, feeding them, they
Mhm.
don't become nothing. And if we're not throwing them into other minds so they could ping pong shit back, the next generation is still going to be smarter than us. They're not going to be always better than us, but they're going to
Yeah,
have, if they're brought up with our mentality and the new mentality, they're just going to be 10 times better than we are. You know what I mean?
yeah. And you know what?
Especially with the scene.
Yeah, early on we come back from a tour. Let's say we did something with you guys or Agnostic Front or Sick of It All or something, and people would be like, "Yo, how was that tour? Dope. How are those guys? Oh, they're
Yeah.
cool dudes. Oh yeah, what's up with this?" And be like, "Oh man, kind of like, okay, dudes are like listening to them just like I am, but they don't know, kind of know." So
Exactly.
when we first had guys on, like Danny from Biohazard or Vinny Stigma, or that people are like, "Oh shit!" Like we knew this guy was a character, but this was great just to hear him like this.
Yeah.
Not just a couple segments between songs and on a random Saturday night, but you get to know these dudes better, and these dudes are all the bands that we loved, and we were like, "Yo, these dudes are great. Everybody's got to hear them."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, not that our thing is so big, but random dudes would hit me up from all over the world, Australia, Germany, Netherlands, Japan, and be like, "This guy, that guy, so cool. Oh, I heard about this, blah blah." And it's like extra. So it's almost like it's like a living, breathing zine, because
Yeah.
that's what we had back in the day. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it is. I never thought about it like that, but it is. It is. It's a breathing zine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Any new kid out there, right there, you got the name of your new podcast, the Breathing Zine, right?
yeah.
Boom. But
That's it.
let me ask you this: who wins in a cage fight, the Ramones or the Cast of Revenge of the Nerds?
Oh, come on, dude.
Ah,
Listen.
oh my God.
Joey Ramone's reach, his
Yeah.
reach alone, like he can take a lot of people. These are
Look,
Queen's brothers you're talking about,
look
man.
at,
They put Queens on the map.
I know they went to Forest Hills. You know what we used to do at Forest Hills? We used to go to that school to beat the kids up.
Oh, come
That's
on.
what kids from Newtown used to do.
Yo, they did a worldwide poll. They said who are the most influential people from Queens? It was the Ramones and then Nas.
And Paul Simon.
I made that up.
Craig Satari. I know you made it up.
Craig Satari put himself on the list.
Of course he did. Yo, shout out to Craig for inventing everything.
Yo, Craig, we just did an interview with Craig. It's up. If people want to hear Craig's first experience with Black Sabbath, listen to that. And what his brother and his friends did to him, they should be arrested for that.
I heard it, and you guys got to check out the Post America podcast, and you got to hear that, because nowadays there would have been people in jail. They would have been fucking on the front page of of every newspaper,
Totally.
right?
Yeah,
Think about it.
And we would have been like those pieces of shit.
But look, it didn't do no damage. Look how great Craig turned out. He turned out mentally sane.
Yeah, he's almost normal.
Well, he's almost normal and a lot not.
Yeah. But it's crazy shit. At least we're on the same page with Black Sabbath, though, right?
Yeah, no, Black Sabbath is king. They're my favorite band in the world. Them in the Jackson 5. Those are the two. Well, I love them. I love Motown, but Black Sabbath, they're king. They're my Beatles. They're my Led Zeppelin. They're my all that, because you know what.
Black Sabbath is the first metal band. It's the first punk band. It's the first hardcore band. It's the first doom metal band. It's the first thrash band. It's all of that. And the fact you said when you were trying to diss me on the Beatles, because you know I hate the Beatles, it's true. Sabbath loved the Beatles, and I love that Ozzy thinks that they sounded like the Beatles.
That's
I love that, because it shows how crazy he is. Like,
he's like a
Yellow Submarine compared to Black Sabbath or War Pigs. Like, come on, Ozzy, what's wrong with you?
If you took a cuckoo clock and he smashed it with a hammer, that's what's inside Ozzy's head.
Yeah, dude.
But he's the greatest. It's because his swag of being so not knowing what's going on.
Carefree, careless.
Yeah, it gave it swag. Sabbath was never sonically perfect, which made them perfect. They have a wobble from not being tight, but that's them being super tight, where they're letting the music breathe. That's why you have a good head bop, a good pulse.
Yeah.
This is a thing with music people don't understand.
And as a bass player, you gotta love Sabbath.
Absolutely, and it's because of that, and it's instruments are alive. When you let that shit breathe, it talks. If you don't, it dies and it sounds stale. That's why bands to this day are trying to sound like Black Sabbath. So that they're the kings.
Now,
Fuck
I gotta
the Ramones,
ask.
Black Sabbath does everything.
Black Sabbath is the kings. I give Ramones props, but I gotta ask. You're a bass player. I see you. I see Gallo. I see Craig. I see all of these. They plug their bass in. It's ready to go. It sounds great. And then meanwhile, our guy, Evan, he's messing around with his. He changes every day. It's a new setting, a new sound. He can't get it right. What is going on? And then I look at your gears. One little thing. He's got all these pedals. Could you help this guy out? Send him an email, something. Straighten him out. Tell him how to do the bass.
It's I call it Satari syndrome. That they already have a great sound that they could get with one knob, but they decide to make life harder and connect more shit that might have more room for error to just basically get the same great sound they already had.
Yeah, to go back to the starting point after 6 pedals and
basically, and people forget a bass should sound like what? A bass. That's why you got a guitar. A guitar should sound like a guitar. A bass should be a bass.
And being a bass player in a band with one guitar player, though, it's more of a responsibility.
Oh, by far, because we can't hide as much as we usually could hide.
Yeah, no, not even hiding, but like if you got 2 guitars and then the bass, it's kind of like, okay, there's room now. But when you're just the bass and then that's that one rhythm guitar, and sometimes he goes off and plays octaves and a little lick, and then the bass is there. So for like you guys and Sick of It All, the single bass, that's key, man. Yeah,
it's very hard, because whoever you got on guitar got to be killing it also, because it's hard to compete with 2 guitars. If you're not tight, it's not going to sound as full as 2 guitars. So you always got to be a little extra tighter, a little bit more. Your overall sound got to work more. Like Craig had a good explanation of a band that I say to this day. It's like a bed. A band is like a bed. The drums and bass are like the mattress. They're the firm, the bottom that holds everything up. The guitarist is the thin sheet that lays.
Oh no! The guitarist is the pillow, baby. That's the pillow.
And the singer sleeps on the bed.
I like that. All right.
Yeah, that Satari's the best. You could ask him about the swollen thumb packed in ice, but that's another story.
Oh shit.
But okay, let me tell you this because I also don't want to keep you here all day. What's up with the band? What's coming up with the band and what's coming up with the podcast?
Podcast. We got we just put out Craig yesterday. We talked to Craig plenty of times in the past, but this was a good one, because he didn't really open up on what he truly believes about what's going on. He's a little timid, but we put one out yesterday with Craig. We got one coming up with Armand, and Armand's a very serious guy. I recommend people check out Armand because he's kind of hard. He's very sheltered as far as on his purposely, he's guarded, and he opened up a little bit. And we got one coming up with Scott where he talks about his dealing with the coronavirus, all the issues. Yeah, we're going to keep putting those out. As far as the band, we did a split with Sharp Shock, like I told you. That'll be out in September. One cover song, one original piece. And then right now, currently, just writing for the next album. Hopefully, we're getting emails like you guys, potential, hey, maybe you want to tour in December. Hey, maybe you want to tour in February, but you almost can't really commit to anything because we don't know for sure,
And where they find the podcast at, let everybody know.
Post America Podcast. Just Google that. It's on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud. Instagram is at Post America Podcast. There's a Facebook page, I think. I think Joe does most of that stuff. But me, Joe, and Chris do the podcast. When one of us can't do it, another guy might do it solo here and there, just two guys, but we keep it going. It's been going for years, and we get a lot of good feedback, man. And
it's great.
Lately, I appreciate that, man. Shit. When we've been going out, kids have been talking to us and coming up to talk about. They're saying things we said on the podcast. And I'm like, what's this crazy dude talking about? Like one dude came up to me, he's like, "Bikers are feminine, huh?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe." What's really tough? He's like, "Whoa, that's what you said on your." Yeah, I was like, "Oh shit!"
You're gonna have skinheads, archaeologists fucking you up. You're gonna get bum rushed by a
I gotta keep in mind the dumb shit I say because it's gonna come and bite me in the ass at some point.
But good shit. And like I was telling you before, and I want to let everybody listening now too. Eventually, I want to get Joe, and then I want to do another one with the whole squad with Chris and everybody, and we could do that with the Zoom shit. And then we want to put out a collab T-shirt to keep shit rocking and let everybody get down with the movement. Mm-hmm. Richie, good looking out. Thank you for jumping on this. This is my first one back. I needed a good shit talker, and you got a fucking
my man
trophy in that. And yo, shout out to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, smash that like button. Check out the Post America Podcast, The Smokin' Word. We out.
Respect.